I would have took that as a sign from God to go somewhere else. But you...
Well, we built a custom house. We had everything that we wanted materially. And Jackie and I were both active in our churches at the time. And I pretty much thought that I had given God what he needed. I kind of had this little, what I thought was this little deal with him. And I would give him some of my time, part-time, and that would be enough. And it wasn't. And business tended to get a little more difficult. A lot of folks know what the economy was like here and back in the 2006, 2007 range. And gradually, God began to break me slowly into smaller pieces. I had always felt that I was the rainmaker, and I could always get it done, whatever I needed to get done. And although I knew in my heart, I grew up in the church, I knew that really I was, it was the Lord. But we never lived it. We never actually put our faith into action.
Right.
It wasn't that we didn't believe God could do things, but he was pulling us closer. And I remember one particular day that I sat out with you on the back lanai, and I said, honey, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I really feel pulled. And we made a decision in July of 2011 to sell everything that we had and to go into full-time ministry.
It was almost 10 years to the day.
And that's when Epic Missions was really birthed at that point.
It was 10 years to the day that you were under that funnel cloud.
And you were on 16 acres of, we were talking last night, of very unkept property.
Yeah, it was at the time that property had been foreclosed on and left vacant for 2.5 years. And Jackie and I found this property, and it turns out it was the same exact property that Jackie had been standing on 10 years earlier.
On the funnel cloud.
When the funnel cloud.
Yes.
With those 27 middle schools.
So when God called me here, he meant at
There's
that
no
very
coincidences.
spot.
Yeah, he meant here.
Right.
And
So he brought me back to the very place that he called us from, and his hand has been all over it from the day we stepped foot on that property, and it has just been amazing.
I mean, you were sharing with me last night, we were talking on the phone, I mean, just miracle after miracle after miracle, things that could never happen.
well, we had a decision to make, and we wanted to bring teams in from around the country, and we knew that they couldn't live in it the way that it was, so we were leasing the property from the bank, and we decided to take everything that we had and pour it into those buildings and get them rehabilitated. And that would have been in the fall of 2011, around Christmas time.
I had teams already booked.
By February of 2012, we had teams coming in. We had over 300 people come in our very first year and serve. They did about 12,000 hours of volunteer time in this area. And our very first year, we had over 70 boys and girls make a decision for Jesus Christ.
Amen. That deserves a round of applause and praise, because not for praise for man, but because you guys are obedient, and now we can look back and say, look what the Lord has done.
Well,
I have to tell you, it's not easy. We're working at 50 years old. We're working harder than we've ever worked in our
50
lives.
is the new 40.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll
In
remember
Florida,
that.
I think it's even could be 30.
Maybe.
Yeah, actually, yes.
But we're working harder than we've ever worked. But I have to honestly tell you, we are happier than we've ever been. And God is just amazing.
We've really watched the hand of the Lord work. It's just been amazing. We came to one point in our contract where we had to actually close on the property by a certain date. And that date came and went, and we did not have enough money at that point to do the deposit.
And that's not a good feeling.
And it was a real test at that point, because we didn't have a plan B. We knew we had put everything into this, and we really felt that this was God's plan. And so we continued to hang in there with this. And I just want to say all the glory belongs to him, because shortly thereafter, we got a call from someone who we never knew, and they came forward and they helped us get our deposit to be able to close on the property.
Now,